Namaste viewers and welcome to this special edition of Amazing Vedas with Dr. Parikshit Singh. Thank you, Dr. Singh, for joining us today. You know, it is a very special day. Every day is special. Whenever we talk about the Vedas is special. But today it is Sri Aurobindo's birthday as well as the birthday of Mother India, of Bhavani Bharati, of the Republic of India. And those of us who are fortunate to be born in India, we have nothing but words of homage and a feeling of gratitude because it is India which is carrying forward the torch of the Vedas. And thanks to Sri Aurobindo, we have a way to actually get back to the Vedas in a manner that was not possible earlier. And you know, viewers, as we have been saying, Sri Aurobindo helps us to go back to the Vedas, and the secret of Sri Aurobindo also lies in the Vedas. So, with your permission, Dr. Singh, let me just recite the Gayatri of Sri Aurobindo and invite you, to comment on it. Is that all right?
Yes.
So we'll start with that. Om Tat Savitur Rupam Jyoti Parasya Dhimahi Yatna Satyena Deepayet Yatna Satyena Deepayet Om Tat Savitur Varam Rupam Jyoti Parasya Dhimahi Yanna Satyena Deepayet Yanna Satyena Deepayet. And just before I ask you to comment on it, I want to play this, how it has been recited in the ashram, if you don't mind, very briefly.
Om Tat Savitur Bharam Rupam Jyoti Parasya Dhimahi Yanna Satyena Deepayet Satyena Deepayet Om Tat Savitur Bharam Rupam Jyoti Parasya Dhimahi Yanna Satyena Deepayet Satyena Deepayet.
So, Dr. Singh, my first request to you is to please explain in simple language what this Gayatri implies. And also, perhaps we can link it to our great Gayatri of Vishwamitra, which we have been reciting for thousands of years.
So, since we cannot accept everything from the past, we have to do our own karigari. So, I created, used the chanting the swaras of the previous Gayatri mantra into this Gayatri mantra. So, let me chant that also.
Please, that would be great.
So, this is in the old Vedic style. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsavitur Varam Rupam Jyotif Parasya Dhimahi Yanna Satyena Deepayet.
Very nice. It makes it more familiar,
Yes. So I just used the swara, the rise and fall of the previous Gayatri mantra and connecting them through the sound also. But this is a very profound realization. Of course, Rishi Vishwamitra's realization was very profound, in which the mind is being impelled by the sun, and the sun here is a symbol of Satchidananda, the highest body of physical height, the highest representation we can make in the physical world of that which is beyond the truth, consciousness, and bliss. So the sun is our representative. And Rishi Vishwamitra invokes the sun because he meditates on it. It's adorable, it's full of light, to propel his thoughts, propel his mind. And he must have realized that, and this is the siddhi he has passed on to us. And Sri Aurobindo, of course, being the initiator, being a significant proponent of the new cycle of the Vedic age, brought that realization into the prana and the body, and that's at least was his aspiration for all humanity. And so when we say Tat Savitur Varam Rupam, that Savitur whose form is adorable, we meditate on it because that is the light beyond Jyotif Parasya or Jyoteh Parasya. And through the truth, Deepayet, it will light us up. And so it's a very beautiful Gayatri mantra. And it is said that he just wrote it just like that. A disciple asked him to write the Gayatri mantra, and he was going to write Rishi Vishwamitra's, the original Gayatri mantra, and he says, hold on, there is one varna that is missing, which is true. One varna is missing in the first pada, intentionally or, there is a kind of Gayatri mantra in which one varna is missing, 788. So Sri Aurobindo says, no, this is not complete. So he completes it.
And brings in Satyena Deepayet.
Yes. He brings in his own realization. And I've heard that a great Vedic Rishi will come back, will return and complete the Gayatri mantra of sage Vishwamitra. And that's what we are told. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But definitely it is a great siddhi itself that Sri Aurobindo brought to transform our prana and body too, not just the mind. And that is why he is so much more Vedic than so many of our other panthas, which derived from the Veda, but kind of lost the original spirit of the Veda, which always takes everything, accepts everything that we are, takes it as a fit instrument of the divine, and seeks to transform it. So Sri Aurobindo is in that beautiful lineage of our Vedic rishis.
Indeed, MP Panditji, he said that the original Gayatri was meant to impel, inspire, propel our dhi, the highest faculty of our intellect, which in a sense is represented by Indra, as we have been saying, to propel us, beyond the mundane to the supramundane, to those worlds of light and consciousness. Because I think Sri Aurobindo clearly said that the hint of the supramind is already in the Veda, So I was thinking about this, reflecting on it. I woke up very early this morning and I was thinking about what we would talk about. And then it occurred to me, it's very interesting. It occurred to me that when the Vedic seers wanted to find a path to immortality, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Now, what they did was very different from what the Egyptians did. The Egyptians were also looking for a path to immortality. They thought that they could preserve the body, and find a way to transport the soul. That's what those pyramidical structures were about, to the other world, through a precise gateway, And they also believed that the souls of their kings, who were like gods, would go to this other realm and then come back and inhabit this hollowed out body. And that's why they had all their sacred symbols, and the chambers were made very hospitable, so to speak, to them. So that belief in the transformation of the physical body then, in my view, percolated into the Abrahamic religions which grew up in that vicinity. And so, for example, in both Christianity and Islam, you have the idea of your physical body, which is buried, right, being then awakened into eternal life in heaven, you see. And among the, in the Islamic tradition, it's Qayamat, that day of judgment, which you also have in Christianity, when the pure will be separated from the impure, the sinners, from those who have done good deeds. And that comes from that idea of the Egyptians, where the heart was weighed against a feather, you see. So your heart was supposed to be so clean, so light, as the great Kabir said, that the chadar, the chola, the so-called bed sheet, or the sheet, which is a metaphor for the body, was so unstained, so pure.
Bhini, bhinu.
Exactly.
Jini, jini.
Yeah, he said. But then he said, that it should be so clean, like the feather is very light. So your karma should be so light that when they're weighed against the feather, if they balance, then you go. So this was the Egyptian idea. Heaven, hell, a day of judgment, the afterlife, and immortality through a process, But what the Vedic seers did, in my view, was so astonishing. They said, within quotes, burn the body. Don't be attached to the body. So they built monuments in verse, not monuments in stone. And they found another pathway through the mantra, that your spirit body, through the vehicle of the mantra, that prachodayata, it gets propelled to that world of the swa, the world of the so-called supermind. Now, if you look at Sri Aurobindo's symbol, it has the two triangles, which you also have in all the tantra, like the Sri yantras, all the tantric yantras, which is the aspiration, the human aspiration to reach the divine. And then the divine descent. So when I read MP Pandit's, explanation or interpretation, that Sri Aurobindo wanted an integral transformation, not just the mental or the intellectual, not just the dhi, but that every part, as you rightly said, of the psyche, of the spirit, and then down into the physical, into the vital, and then into the physical should be transformed. I saw it, Dr. Singh, very clearly, because in my view, what the great sage Vishwamitra does is he shows us the aspiration of the human spirit to the world of the swa, swar. How, from where we are, from the mundane, how we can propel ourselves to that world. And Sri Aurobindo talks about the descent. So, viewers, you remember last time we said that the process of yoga was always twofold. First, you find freedom, you find the realization, you find the perfection right here and now, by going out, as it were, from this world and attaining your own true, whatever, self. And then you return to this world to offer whatever you can of that realization. So, in my view, when you said great sage would complete the mantra of Vishwamitra, it seemed to me that Sri Aurobindo's Gayatri is about the descent back from the supramental, which is where we were meant to go according to the sage Vishwamitra, then back, and then we have those poems of Sri Aurobindo when he says, your golden light descended, you see. So I want your views on this, this whatever insight, this Suketu that I had early in the morning.
I think I instinctively feel that is the way, at least Sri Aurobindo presented it. But Sri Aurobindo is also very vast, and he allows a lot of variations, variability. But it's really he sees that as a twofold movement, both upward, downward, humans and devas working together in the same yajna, and there's no separation between.
I was just thinking that his own effort was to bring down the truth of the supermind, right, into our world. So for me, that was what Satyena Deepayet meant.
Yes, that's right.
So Tat Savitur Varam Rupam, the finest, within us of that Savitur, that same spirit, you see. So we go there and then we bring that truth, because that's the truth without that duality that we've been talking about.
Yes.
And we try to bring it into our daily life. Of course, that is so hard. We all go through these fluctuations, but I leave you to give us our concluding observations for this first episode on a very auspicious day. So, Sri Aurobindo's birthday, a darshan day for many of us, and of course, uh, India's Independence Day, not accidentally. So, I would request you to tie up all these three things because India rises not for herself, but for humanity. And India represents Bharata, that that higher consciousness, to be located in that higher light, that light of higher consciousness. So I leave you to give us our concluding observations for this episode, Dr. Singh.
All that, my whole being now is into seeing India rise up to the vision of Sri Aurobindo. That is the whole, can India come up to how he saw her greatness, her spirituality, her completest development, and how she would be the leader in humanity towards a new level of our evolution and our journey together. So as Indians, we need to be grateful to him for what he brought us, for what he brought our nation, and then we should aspire to rise up to how he saw us. And this is he saw the best in us, the utmost possibility. He didn't, and that is his beauty. He sees what is the finest and he raises that. He says, this is who you are. And if we can come up to that, all of us, then we will be able to bring the India of his dreams and of his vision into manifestation.
And it is also a great anniversary of that song Vande Mataram today.
Yes.
So we also celebrate that. And
yes.
I think it's the 150th anniversary of Vande Mataram as well. So with those words, viewers, thank you for joining us. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Join us in this Veda Pravah and refresh yourselves as we want to refresh ourselves as well. With those words, Om to all of you.